Hey, it's Cosmic Charles, and I'm back with my take on the Turbofish archetype. This is an archetype largely innovated by Caleb Gannon and Brian Cook. Caleb Gannon started the archetype with a deck he called Fishelbrand, basically trying to make your own Grizzlebrand, combining Gurmag, Angler, and Rush of Knowledge. Bryant ended up cutting the Rush of Knowledge just to make really fast, big creatures. You typically want to get them out between turn 1 and turn 3, because after that point, your opponent's likely going to be able to deal with them, even if they're hasty with first day of class. So what you're trying to do with this deck is you're trying to make a lot of mana with your rituals, draw a lot of cards using Deadly Dispute, sacking, Vault of Whispers or Great Furnace or preferably Experimental Synthesizer, hopefully not Lotus Petal. And as you draw through your deck and generate more mana, you can then play these Tolarian Terrors, Gurmag Angler, or the Molten Monstrosity, which I don't think Bryant added to his deck. I don't know why he didn't. I suppose he chose not to. Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun so far. I don't know how competitive it is, but it's been a lot of fun. And it also really helps with you if you're struggling to figure out, counting for how much mana and what colors of mana you need. It is a good way of training yourself, for helping you train yourself for counting in that way. Yeah. So basically, it's been a lot of fun. I thought I'd share my take on it. I do think Molten Monstrosity is very good on the deck. 4 Terror, 4 Angler isn't quite enough to be reliable. The Molten Monstrosity really helps because you do need to go big, because it's not too hard for most decks to deal with, hasty 6/6s. It's like one hasty 6/6 isn't going to be enough, even if it's on turn 1 most of the time. So you do need a lot of these. Yeah, so that's been a lot of fun. The sideboard is just something I threw together. I wouldn't really pay any attention to it. I almost never board. Sometimes I'll bring in Pyroblast. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I recommend trying this out in tournament practice. I do not recommend taking it to any competitive event. I do not think this is a competitive deck, but it could be. I haven't really tried it in a competitive format. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. So I thought I would show you how the deck works via just a little bit of gameplay. And if you're interested and you want to just make some big things quickly, I recommend you try it out. All right, and I'll see you for the gameplay. Okay, and so let's see. Let's take a look at my hand here. You could keep this. I wouldn't, because you do have a free mulligan. It's okay to mulligan to 6. And I mulligan. Much better. I like having Sulfur Vent in my opener, so it's like a free ritual there. The Vault of Whispers is pretty free to put on the bottom. A lot of good mana, and this means I'll likely be going off on turn 3, because I'll get to go turn 2 Knight's Whisper, rather. That first day of class, very important. The haste is usually quite important here. So I go Knight's Whisper, Thraben into Gingerbrute, and Rite of Flame, Dark Ritual, Experimental Synthesizer, first day of class, into Deadly Dispute. Looking pretty good so far. Unfortunately, I need to cast a Cabal Ritual now. I would be cutting myself out of red or blue, probably, if I didn't do it then. Let's see what I draw. That Gurmag was huge. That means I can get my favorites, and also that Great Furnace. That means I can get my favorite start, which is one of each, with haste, and this is on turn 3, I believe. So hopefully it's enough. It should be, because they're tapped out. They're going to be down to 2 life here. I doubt they'll be able to kill 3 of them, and the trample on the monstrosity is going to be very relevant here. And I get in. Alright, and that was the first game. I'll see you for the second. Okay, game 2. I didn't board. I rarely do. Yeah, and let's see. I can't keep this hand. No mana. This hand is risky, but very keepable because of that Manamorphose can help hopefully get me to black. They go Ardent Recruit. Yep. Just as we drew it up. So this is going to be me going for it turn 1. I do like to go as early as I possibly can. You're not losing that much. Dark Ritual. And you're gaining a whole bunch by doing this a turn earlier. And Deadly Dispute, sacrificing the synth. Go Lotus Petal. Deadly Dispute, sacrificing... Oh, Cabal Ritual. Again, I couldn't really wait for the 7 there. Deadly Dispute, that was pretty good. Now I have something to do. First day of class, discarding Seasoning Song, and that Dark Ritual was very important. But hey, I mean, you're playing a deck like this, you're trying to get a little lucky. There goes a Gurmag. There goes a Gurmag, and that was turn 1, 2, 6, 6 Hasty Gurbies coming through. And I'm pretty sure that's a lot for most decks. Probably wouldn't be able to deal with that. Alright, and that was a gameplay. So yeah. Now another thing you could do if you're interested in trying Molten Monstrosity, but you don't like Turbofish, I did have a an Exhume Reanimator, thank you, deck with this that I was working on a month ago or a couple months ago. It was 4 colors, splashing white for what's it called, that the white Reanimate spell, with also a secondary backdoor of Gurmag, Angler, and Terror, or just Terror plus like the Goliath. I started working on it back on when Brothers War came out. Ultimately, I found the white's access to the white wasn't really enough, and you really need to go off turn 1, 2, or 3, just like this deck. And I found this deck was actually more reliable going off on turn 1, 2, or 3, although it had a harder time of doing it, because Exhume just does it so easy. Alright, so that was the gameplay. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again.